May I write words more naked than flesh, stronger than bone, more resilient than sinew, and sensitive than nerve. Hi, I'm Rosaleen. I'm the LGBTQ intern here at Cultural Collections at the University of Leeds, and I've been looking at Sappho through time in the archives. So Sappho was a lyric poet from the Isle of Lesbos and was born around 620 BCE. She had a significant impact and influence on her contemporaries, particularly philosophers like Plato and Aristotle, and has had an enduring legacy on writers and poets ever since. Most of her poems have unfortunately been lost, but remain in fragments, adding to her evocative and mysterious aura. Her legacy begins to affect language use during the 17th century, when her name is used to describe what we would term today lesbian behaviour. The notion of female same-sex relationships does not really exist within archives before 1500, as there is a silence. A lot of male sexuality was recorded, particularly for criminal proceedings, but it's not until we get to the 17th century that homosexual behaviour is depicted within archival material. Because of Sappho's legacy describing lesbian love and desire, our first example here is in the work of Catherine Phillips, who has recently been rediscovered as a possible lesbian poet and has been dubbed now the Welsh Sappho. She was writing in the 17th century and was well known at the time for being an exceptional poet, but has faded from public memory. She had a society of the friendship of other women, where she met up with free friends of hers regularly and wrote about their potential romantic relationships between them. Just after the poet Catherine Phillips is writing, the first English language translations of Sappho begin to emerge. We do actually have a first translation of Sappho's work in English by somebody called Ambrose Phillips. Although interesting, at this time, Sappho's lovers were always described as male. Next up, we have a poem by William King, who wrote a satirical letter to somebody called Lady Frances Brunel, describing her as a Sapphic witch and also calling her or accusing her of being a lesbian. This is really interesting because it is one of the first examples of the use of the term Sappho and lesbian in the English language. And Lady Frances Brunel was an Irish aristocrat and was frequently the subject of speculation about her sexuality. Moving later into the 18th century, Anne Seymour Damer was a sculptor and possibly had a lesbian affair with an actress called Elizabeth Farren. In the archives, we also have another satirical poem by Jack Cavendish, who is accusing Anne Seymour Damer of being a lesbian and describing her as Sapphic. We also have some contemporary 20th century translations of Sappho's work, one from 1915. And now, today, we have some editions of Sappho, lesbian feminist voice, which shows her as a lesbian feminist icon that she is today.